right now she's way more of a celebrity than a musician, and she's in the start of her career.
Yeah.
It's like that usually happens well
Way
down
after,
the
yeah.
line. Well down. So it's like for you to come in the game like that, I think she's almost becoming what Yachty was. When Yachty was the spokesperson, the face of what was wrong with hip hop, this new sound we don't like. She's becoming the face of this new hip hop thing where you're more celebrity than musician.
Yeah.
And I don't want that for her. Good afternoon, beautiful people. This is another episode of Album Mode. We review a new album every single week. We look at the lyrics, the production, the overall aesthetic of the album, and how the album fits into the context of that artist's career. For all my people watching on YouTube, like this video, share it with your friends and family, leave us a comment, let us know how wrong we always are, and of course, make sure you're subscribed. My name is Adriel Smiley, aka AdrielSmiley.com, aka Adriel Smiley Official, aka The Godfather, and we're here with His Royal Highness, aka The Bunny. Are you an Ice Spice person? Are we giving you that title as one of her?
Borderline Munch.
AKA The Munch. King Grant.
Welcome back, people. It's Album Mode. This time we're back with Ice Spice. Y2K! Exclamation point. Ice Spice, one of the artists out of New York. I want to say
Bronx,
yeah.
Bronx legend.
Allegedly. Bronx legend, Ice Spice is here, and I would say she is a drill artist. This album may be a little bit different than drill, but primarily coming into this, she was a drill artist. Somebody I personally have been looking forward to their music just to see what it would be like.
Yeah.
For a full project from Ice Spice to sound like. So that's what I was like coming into this. I'm like, okay, what does it sound like? Like, what is it gonna be like?
Ice Spice is really a case study for me as well, just seeing how is this all gonna go. I think this early in someone's career to have the actual musical accolades and then the celebrity, but still to some people more celebrity than musician, but
to you.
To a lot of people, but a ton of Grammy nominations, a bunch of huge cosigns, a bunch of huge features. So
yeah, she was in Barbie.
Yeah, she was in Barbie. She has featured with Nicki Minaj, Taylor Swift, cosigns from Drake. So having both of those at the same time is something we really haven't seen very often, maybe if not ever. So I'm always interested to see what she does next. Where does she take it? Not her first time reviewing Ice Spice though. She dropped a little EP in February 2023, question mark. Do you remember the score that you gave it? I'll spoiler alert, you gave it a higher score than me. Not surprising.
Not surprising.
But do you remember what score you gave it?
I'm thinking a 5.5. I think I was slightly optimistic.
You gave it a 6.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I gave it a 6.
Okay.
I think thinking about the scores we gave the last project was interesting when I'm thinking about this project and what score this project could get. But we were kind of pleasantly surprised by that project. I think the bar was low in general because not much had happened. Munch went viral about 6 months before that in August 2022. So this was her first full length after Munch. And then In Her Mood was kind of the lead single from that one. Charting at number 85, but it would get her to this next level where she got a $2 million deal with 10K Projects. Her EP would finally get released. We saw that string of features, Pink Pantheress, Nicki Minaj, Taylor Swift. So even though the project wasn't amazing, it really was a catalyst for what came after that.
I totally agree. I think that Ice Spice has been like almost like blessed by a lot of artists. You know, she's looked at as like she's part of Taylor Swift's posse, like the cadre. She's showing up to the Chiefs Super Bowl. Remember, she was in the box with Taylor Swift.
Yes, she was there.
So she's in the Taylor Swift gang. Her, Lana Del Rey, Taylor Swift, and a handful of other people are in a collective, not an artistic collective, but a friendship collective.
Has she hung out with Taylor Swift since? Does Taylor still have her number saved?
Yes, yes, she does. Yes, she does.
You know what it reminded me of? And this happens more in hip hop, but when two people have a song coming out and they go to the game courtside together,
Right.
this was like the pop version of that. So I don't know if they're actually homies, but they definitely did the correct promo to get that single going.
She was there for that. Then they were at award shows. They were sitting beside each other. So it's not like, it's not like their label mates are hanging out. They're more of a real life friends, it seems like.
Real life acquaintances. I feel comfortable with that. I think thinking about this project as well, like the hype kind of has died down for My Spice. And this project that I feel like we wanted a year ago, this time came out with a little less fanfare. And I was kind of surprised by that, thinking of all the backing she's had. But my, I guess, hypothesis for that is that the first week numbers were not going to be great. From what I remember, it's around 18 to 20K she did, which she was very happy about. But the kind of hit singles she had before, 18 to 20K, is a little bit of a disappointment. But I think that this project is the first project for a lot of people that they're going to remember as hers. I think like for a lot of people, it's kind of faded into the background now. There's been enough singles since then. A lot of people haven't been counting that as a project. So to a lot of people, this is the first project. 10 songs, 23 minutes. Some big name features on here.
Travis Scott,
Central Cee,
Gunna,
your boy.
Which I like the feature, by the way. I like Gunna's features.
Gunna has great features. I think that that's somewhere to start for me because the features she had before this with Nicki and Taylor and Pink Pantheress, she can get anyone, it seems like.
So, what is that? That's some crazy sauce, man.
Right. So I think for her album to have, all men as a features is one thing that I noticed, which was interesting to me because the first three I mentioned were all women. And then as well, the kind of features she got. Like these features seem not directly in her pocket because none of these artists are drill artists, but all these artists are very central to hip hop. Do you have one of these guys that stood out to you in terms of these features?
I genuinely think Gunna had the best feature.
Wow.
On Bitch on Packin. I know, guys, I'm looking at this in my camera right here. I know that me and Gunna have a checkered relationship, okay? But on the features, he's good. And you know why he's good on the features? Is because all of the things that tire me when I hear over an extended period of time with Gunna on his albums, just condense it. Just condense it all. Just squeeze it together.
Yeah.
And put it in one verse, and it works. I think it works really well. I think that he's basically not subtracting anything. His vocals, again, because it's a burst, it works, right? So you can kind of have like whatever tone, and it doesn't have to be obviously his verse is not super complex, but because it's a feature and it's with Ice Spice, who is not, I would say, not a complex lyrical artist.
No. No.
It works because it smashes together. He's in the same space as her. Obviously, his production style is more of a trap sphere. He's still working with her because she's still a reductionist when it comes to lyrics. So he's not out of place, but he's a much better flow artist, right? He's very, very great on the flow. So I actually really like his feature on Bitch I'm Packin'.
Bitch I'm Packin'. First of all, the song names on here, absolutely insane. How you feel about Gunna in terms of his features? How I feel about Lil Baby.
Okay.
A Lil Baby feature raises my eyebrows more than a Lil Baby song. So I'm with you on that one. To me, I think it's Central Cee though. Central Cee is probably the most like legitimate rapping on this project. And to hear a hip hop project that is kind of this low level of rapping for the entire thing is something that is not really something we've dealt with as much. Even someone like Yeat, who's not known as lyrical, Yeat would sound like Mobb Deep on this. And
I think that's an overstatement.
It's super not.
I think it's
super not. And I think why Central Cee's feature stands out to me so much is because he is a person who's rapping in the traditional sense of what rap, used to be on this project where that's basically not happening at all. And so I think it's interesting that he's the one chosen for this because Gunna and Travis Scott are both not that kind of rapper.
I agree.
So to make Central Cee be the one who's that kind of rapper is interesting. But why I wanted to bring that up is because I don't know if she's ever going to do songs with that kind of rapper. I think Central Cee is like the pop version of that. And that's why he kind of fits in here. But I think what I'm getting from this is Ice Spice is staying away from anything lyrical.
Yeah.
Anything that's like you're even an ounce lyrical, I don't want any part of it. Because I do think that her sound and her tone meshes well with male artists.
Yeah, I agree too. I think that you're right. I don't think that she's gonna be making lyrically dense music, which is totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a lyrically sparse generation of hip hop right now. So she doesn't really have to worry about having to figure out how does my music work with
Mhm.
Kendrick Lamar?
Yes.
How does my music work with Jid, or Denzel Curry? You don't have to worry about that because again, I said she's a reductionist when it comes to her lyrics. She said literally in like articles is like, I want my lyrics to be as like easy to understand, reductionist as
Mhm.
possible. So she's doing it on purpose, right? She's doing it on purpose. I think that this song with Central Cee is kind of like I don't know if people are seeing it, but there's like when I talked about music collectives jokingly before,
Mhm.
but there is like kind of like a music collective between her, Central Cee, and Pink Panthers, and this
Mhm.
like almost like dance ethereal sound that they all exist in. Like they're all
Mhm.
trying to. It's implicit because I don't think they're explicitly going to be like, "Hey, let's invent this like ethereal drill type
Yeah.
of sound." But they all have existed in it because they've
Mhm.
all hovered around that, featuring on each other's work. So I think that it's an interesting development.
Mhm.
I don't think it's super interesting for her, just because I think this light sound, like this ethereal, like it's technically a drill song,
Mhm.
I guess, but these really light and ethereal synths and like don't suit her as much as like the other tracks, like the song
Interesting.
that comes literally right before it,
Mhm.
Plenty Sun, is where I think Ice Spice is flourishing.
That might be the best song on here.
I think Ice Spice is an opium artist in a drill body. I
Interesting.
think she works as an opium because she's such a reductionist when it comes to lyrics.
Mhm.
Who else is like that? In the entire opium like group,
Yeah.
Playboy Cardi, Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely.
Yeah.
That's where I think she fits in more. I don't
Mhm.
know if everybody sees it. Obviously,
Mhm.
they saw it enough to have a song like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if everybody is really gripping that. But to me, that's what it sounded like. That's why I really wanted to talk about
Mhm.
Ice Spice.
Yeah. Plenty Sun to me was the song that I was like, this is probably the best Ice Spice I've heard of any song that
Yeah.
she's released. And I think you're right that she fits so well on that because of her like vocal styling, but this is her like lyrical choices of
Mhm.
trying to be very, very reductionist. But I think that there's almost like her voice sounds like it's I don't want to say out of place here, but it just stands out in a way. Like you're not used to hearing a voice like hers on production like
I
that.
agree.
And so on Plenty Sun especially, that's one where as soon as you hear it, you're like, whoa, this is a little bit different from her. So I'm happy you mentioned that one because that's my favorite song on this whole project. Like
Yeah.
when I got to Plenty Sun, I was like, okay, we got something here.
Yeah.
Production wise, there's two songs that I want to mention that right before Plenty Sun is Popa
Yeah.
and Bitch I'm Packin'. Popa is like her, I guess, industrial version of what she's already doing.
Really, I think that's more of an opium
Mm.
type of beat as well. Like
Mm.
I
Mm.
think she did features with Travis Scott, Gunna, and Central Cee.
Mm.
Her feature should be like Young Nudie, Ken Carson, Playboy Cardi. That's where
Yes.
she should be. And I
Yeah.
think Papa is like she delivers her lines, and then there's
Mm.
that horn that's like dun, 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 dun. Like there's
And a little bit of distortion as well.
yeah, it's like she's like delivering like I'm trying to think, like royalty, like they deliver a missive and then like the
Yes.
horns come, deliver horns.
Mm.
That's how that song is working. I think it works really well for her.
Yeah, I think like that's where she lives the best.
Yeah.
Like when her and the production can actually work in tandem like they do on Papa.
Mhm.
Like that could have been a single to me more than the actual singles because to me the singles are the worst songs on here. And then Bitch I'm Packin', those two songs actually go into each other,
Yeah.
which is so interesting because it doesn't happen anywhere else.
I know.
And it's like it realistically could have been done on every song.
Mhm.
And I think like this is where she's still a singles artist, no matter how much you feel about this project, is
Yeah.
like having that happen only one time in this project between songs 3 and 4, when all these beats are not that dissimilar.
Yeah, they're not that different.
They're not that different. So this really could have been the whole project, which is like on a project where all the beats sound so similar, do we give them cohesive points for having the production blend together?
Right.
We could have. We could have. It's only 23 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's interesting that it really only happens one time. And these are and it's this section right here between Popa, Bitch I'm Packin, and Plenty Sun. 3 of the best songs on this project.
Yep.
And none of these were the singles. So that's interesting for me to notice right away that like you're capable of it. Because when I heard it the first time, I definitely went back. Let me go back and see if this really happened.
Me too.
Did I dream this?
Yeah, like, wait, hold on. This is like good.
Yeah.
Like this is really good though.
Yeah, so I went back. I'm like, did this really happen? It really did happen.
Yeah,
that was real. So to see that she's capable is a plus because the bar was low to begin with, but it also is kind of unnerving that it's only happening once. Like I think an artist who we expect more from a full project, that would be a flub. We would say, why does only one song connect here?
Yeah,
and none of these songs connect. But for her, because the bar is so low, it's like at least she did it one time.
Yeah, I think for Ice Spice, I think expectations of Ice Spice are interesting because I think that she is really amazing on singles. Like I think that's quite obvious. And when it comes to her like non-singles, let's say the album cuts, deep cuts, even though she only has like 17 songs.
The B-sides.
The B-sides, you're kind of like, okay, like are the singles just like she found the recipe for the singles or is she actually trying to make good music? Do you know what I mean? That's what you're really. That's
what do you think is the answer to that?
That's the battle with Ice. I don't know. I can't really tell because this album, I would say the singles are probably the worst songs artistically.
Yeah.
Right. And then the songs that got the least shine from her don't like she doesn't even talk about them are like that first one was it 1, 2, 3, the first 6 songs basically. Those are the best songs.
Yeah.
No convo about that. I don't see anybody talking about that. Like, I also think the demo that she feeds, which is primarily women, they're not fucking with opium like that.
No.
Like, I don't know. This is me in my personal life, but like, I don't know. It's the people who listen to like Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, Playboy Cardi. Those are dudes.
Yeah,
mostly
I've only met one woman in my entire life who listens to those people. So you're right. That's
There's
not
like
the demographic.
Yeah, it's a weird demographic crossover.
And we talked about this on her first project in terms of her being, what did we call her? Baby drill? Something like that. And it's like drill is a male-dominated genre. And she's a woman coming in there and basically having more success than all these dudes.
Right.
And talking about her group of listeners mostly being women, it's like, that's where the juxtaposition comes from, where we've now realized 18 months later, maybe drill is not her best place to be. Maybe the opium hip hop is more her best place to be. And that's another male dominated space.
Yeah.
But I think the way she dominated drill as a woman, I think she can do the same thing in that space.
I agree.
The one song that I have to highlight as one of my least favorites, because there's a few.
Yeah.
There's a few. But BB Belts.
I knew it. I knew it. It's so hard. I'm like, yo, especially coming straight off the Central Cee track. I'm like, wow, we're really going to this level.
And I think that one for me, the tempo of that song, that was almost probably the hardest to listen to of almost any song I've listened to this year in terms of doing a review. And my first listen, I had to skip that song completely. Like once we got like a minute in, I said, this is still happening? Like, let's please move forward. And I think that the production on this project is the most, I guess, scrutiny I can give it, because lyrically, it doesn't even matter. Like, she's proven that to us from day one.
Right.
Like, I think that is somewhere where if that does change, it's going to be a huge surprise to everybody. But she's made herself consistent of like, I'm not here for the lyrics. Like, that's not what we're about. And with this project, we talk about this first half that I think is pretty good. The second half, which is pretty bad.
After BB Belt down.
BB Belt down. Even Osh, I didn't love, but it's still a decent song. But she doesn't have as many of those songs that are just decent. I think that it's like songs like Popa, Bitch I'm Packin, Plenty Sun, which feel like heat and give you the energy. And then you have songs like BB Belt and Think You the Shit, which are absolute trash. And it's like most of this album is polar opposites on one side. It's like either it's a complete fucking garbage song or it's like, oh, this is interesting. I like this. And I think that that's where I'm still dubious about her career going forward because lyrically, I've seen her do some things with flows on this project that I'm like, okay, this is actually catchier. You have something here. Like, we don't need to get all lyrical. You know, Travis Scott and Gunna are on this project.
Yeah,
clearly we don't have to do that. But especially with the production, if the production is bad mixed with her like lyrical style, it's almost unbearable. And to have so many unbearable songs on a 23-minute project, like that should just be a non-starter.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have that. Like there's so much good production out there that I think that is actually her falling victim to that drill sound. I think there's sometimes she feels like I have to live there.
Yeah, I agree.
And you don't. She can make a regular trap hip hop song like a Cardi B would and rap your same way over that. So that to me is my biggest gripe is I think there's almost too much drill on this project. And
I agree.
The drill was good when you came in. It was kind of had a novelty feel to it. It was like, oh, look at this woman rapping on drill. But most of the beats on here that I hate are the ones that are super drill adjacent.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that the song like BB Belt in particular, the things that I like about Fat Butt, Osh,
yep,
Popa, Bitch I'm Packin, Plenty Sun, is that the production is kind of like all over the place, and her voice and like what she's saying is it cuts through the production, right? When you get to BB Belt, there is so little production actually like you're getting the drum tick and you're getting this like weird bell, right? But there isn't actually much else that's happening.
That's it.
So it kind of isolates her lyrics, and her lyrics are not her strong suit. And even if you can be reductionist, right? And like, you know, have it be minimal. But if there's nothing to, you know, either lift the minimalism or like kind of like encase it, then it's kind of just like naked. And then it just doesn't work. So I think that's the biggest problem with BB Bell is like it's kind of like a naked drum beat or a drill beat, but she's not filling it. So it's kind of just like a bare song. I think Thank You This Shit. I like it in theory. I think that her lyrics, and I guess this is where we could talk about the lyrics now. Her lyrics is getting to a point where we need somebody to like just read it back to yourself. You know what I mean? Like just read it back, right?
Just read it back to you.
Because honestly, I gotta be honest with you. This is the hook. You think you're the shit, bitch? You're not even the fart. Like, just read that back to yourself and just like really think, like, is that really good? Like, do you think that it's kind of funny? Like, I can get the humor in it, but it's not funny enough. It's literally potty humor, right? She calls herself Miss Poopie on the song before on 88 Bell, or sorry, 88 Bell, BB Belt, right? She calls herself Miss Poopie. She there's another song where she mentions like having to wear a diaper. Stop the madness, bro. I don't know. And she's like, what is it? Is it a scat thing? Is it a scat? Is it like is it a scat thing? Does she view herself as a kid? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why there's so much of it.
I actually get it. Like, I think this sounds worse because she's just not as good of a rapper. Like, rappers have a long history of bars about shit. And, you know, go back to Nicki Minaj, I shitted on him. Like,
yeah.
Long history of rappers talking about shit. So that being her content doesn't bother me as much.
Right.
But I think it just sounds worse because she's not as creative or as skilled as a rapper as someone like Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
And so I think that this song in particular, this is the song that when it was a single, I was like, she's more entertainment than artiste. She's more celebrity than musician. This was a song that kind of made that clear for me because this is the song for the internet. Like, these are the lyrics that will go viral, that will be noticeable. If I don't even like hip hop and I hear someone say this, I'm going to tell my friend, did you hear the song where this girl calls herself a fart? Like, that's what this is for. And that's worked for her up until this point, to the point where we're reviewing our second Ice Spice project. So I think in theory, it doesn't work in terms of artistic value, but what she's trying to accomplish in terms of my goal is to have y'all just be talking about me. And I think this song is an example of that actually happening.
Yeah.
But you're right. I was not a fan. That was a song, even though I heard this before, I know this song. When it came out on the project, I was like, this is why I was not excited about listening to this. Like, that is not it for me.
Yeah, and same. Give Me the Light was the song where she calls herself Miss Poopie, which is another. I think it was another one of the singles.
Yes.
Also has Give Me the Light as its
horrible sample flip.
God, just get a little bit more creative. Just get a little bit more creative instead of just using literally the hook and the production. Like, what is sampled?
And it's worse.
Yeah.
Like, this is the example I think of when it comes to artists sampling music, even NLE Choppa sampling Hot in Here. Is like, you're better off just rapping over the song Lil Wayne style.
Facts.
Like, that is better than doing this.
Yeah.
And so this is an example of that for me. My actually 2 sets of lyrics are from the same song.
Okay.
It's from Fat Butt.
Okay.
And I highlighted these lyrics from Fat Butt because she's talking a lot about her success in her lyrics and her online perception. It's been 18 months. 18 months since the last project. Almost exactly 2 years since Munch came out. So in that time, a lot has happened online. Ice Spice has been a huge figure. She's been hugely famous. And she's seen a lot of the criticism before even putting out a proper debut project. And in the bridge, this part really stood out to me right away. She says, I got these bitches copying my pose. Got these bitches biting on my flows. Like ballerinas, I keep them on their toes. And I really write like fuck a ghost. That off the first song, I thought was interesting of deading the ghostwriting rumors because a female MC always has those rumors. That's just been a part of hip hop. If you're a female MC, men will question if you write your raps. That's just how the game goes. And for her to put that in the first song, I thought was a little bit of self-awareness here because this is going to be a lot of people's first Ice Spice project that they're going to listen to. It might be the last, but it might be the first for a lot of people. And to put that in there at the beginning is you being aware of that and saying, y'all are coming in kind of new to me and what I do, but I did all this. I write all these lyrics. Now, to be fair, we've been shitting on her lyrics for the past 10 minutes or so. That doesn't really hold much weight that you're writing these lyrics. But I think in terms of where she's going to stand as an MC in hip hop, as a female in hip hop, that was important for her to have because I just think that, you know, you can dead those rumors right away.
Yeah.
People does not like you for your own lyrics. It's not a Cardi B situation where they're saying Offset's writing her lyrics or, you know, Biggie writing Lil Kim's lyrics. So her taking that out of the equation right away, I thought was cool, even though she's, again, not as lyrical as anyone I've mentioned.
Right.
But to just have that and say, listen, y'all can't put me in the box with the other girls who don't write their lyrics. I'm becoming a big artist off of my own lyrics I'm writing, which, again, you just talked about her calling herself Poopie Pants.
Yeah, Miss Poopie.
Miss Poopie, sorry. I apologize, Ice Spice, not Poopie Pants.
Miss Poopie.
Miss Poopie, correction. So I think that's an interesting choice for her to make in terms of making that stance. And then on verse 2, this was the verse for me that I said, we have to really talk about where Ice Spice is.
Okay.
Bum bitches had a bad year. Bitches stay on my Pauly D. Send them back home like the cabs here. Sold $500,000 on a mixtape. Probably more on a quick tape. And it's all real, ain't shit fake. Never lucky, I've been blessed. Queen said I'm the princess. Been getting them big checks in a big house, having rich sex. Jamaican plug named Batman. Pack smelling like trash cans. Let him beat it from the back and he eat it up like Pac-Man. Niggas fucked, but it ain't many. Lil body, but my name heavy. Baddest out, you can ask Getty. And I never lack cause I stayed ready. Fat butt, pull my pants up. Shaking ass, got my bands up. Her man calling and she mad as fuck. Bitch, be happy. There's a lot in here. A lot in here. But I want to go back a couple of weeks when we did our review of Meg Thee Stallion's last album, Megan. And I talked about the idea of pussy rap.
I agree.
And how Meg has been entrenched in pussy rap over this last project when we've seen her previous project was not that.
Right. And
I think about that with Ice Spice because she is probably the princess of pussy rap, I would say. And, you know, there's a couple things in here about kind of her sexual prowess that she talks about. And she does it in a way that I feel like is very, very playful. and it doesn't have that kind of bravado and confidence of pussy rap of the past.
Okay.
And I even though I'm not the biggest pussy rap fan myself, I think the playfulness in her lyrics makes it way more palatable. It's almost as if I'm not being 100% serious.
Okay.
And I think that that actually fits for her lyrics. She has this part, she says, let him beat it from the back and he eat it up like Pac-Man. Niggas fucked, but it ain't many. Little body, but my name heavy. This is kind of, I think, where she's gonna stay lyrically for a little bit. It feels like this is her home now. But the idea of, you know, I'm hot, people want me, people want to have sex with me, people want to eat me out. And then her adding to that, I'm a big name. I'm a star. Like, I am a big deal. And I think having that on your first project and it not being the big deal of like, I'm a big deal because I'm high, but I'm a big deal because I've accomplished a lot. I have set records. I'm very successful. The juxtaposition of those two is somewhere where I don't want to say she stands alone because other female rappers do that as well, but that's something she's kind of added in all over this project where it's like, yep, you know, it's all real and shit fake, but the part say, I've been blessed, Queen said I'm the princess. How many people can say that?
Facts, yep.
So she's mixing it in of like, listen, I'm getting money, people want me, I'm living a good life, but by the way, I'm her. And I think that that part that she has so early in her career is gonna really set her apart going forward because none of the other female MCs had this entry into the game. And in terms of having kind of the cosigns from the top artists and as well having the success of the top artists. Cardi B is the closest. But if anyone knows Cardi B's career, she was putting out mixtapes for a while before Bodak Yellow came out. And so for Ice Spice, you know, basically her first songs she's ever put out to start going viral and her to have this career, that's a flex here. As much as it may not be as good of music artistically than the others, the flex of being like, listen, I just came in the game and I'm already on y'all level.
Yeah.
She's mixing that with, and everyone wants to fuck me.
Right.
So it's a double entendre there.
Yeah, I think that's good. How do you feel about her flows going forward? I think that she is. There are some songs where I feel as though there's like a good understanding of being able to master a flow for like a verse and a hook or multiple. I think on Popa is like one of the best ones where she is like I wish I had the papers. I should have brought papers.
Yes.
Came out of the hood, yeah. Got super lit. Diamonds keep on dancing. Got a stupid wrist. He ain't fucking on me. Got a stupid bitch. And he left that bitch because I'm a cooler bitch. Bitch, she ain't no player. This a cool little bitch. Just on the plane. Oh, sorry. Just me on the plane and the stewardess. Fuck all this breesh. What to do with it? Munching on that Popa like it's food in it. Skin the color of coca, put his nose in it, told him that I love him, I was trolling. Okay. Then she's going off into a different rhyme scheme. But I think that this is her being funny. I do think she's a funny rapper. I actually do think she's trying to be funny. Like a lot of the stuff where she's like, you know, watching on that Popa, like there's food in it is a funny line. And also just me. Then she has this like it's rhyme that she goes. I think that her using bitch back to back is probably not very good. But you know, like bitch, she ain't no player. This is a cool little bitch. Just me on the plane and the stewardess. I thought that was, you know, fun little couplet. But I think that her use of flows are pretty good. Like I think that
especially here.
Yeah, especially here. I think that she really understands like you know, carrying the last letter or carrying the last words, the last letter, stuff like that. I think that one thing that she needs to work on, which is like a big like it's such a easy thing to like notice, is like her tone. Like I don't think she understands her tone and like how to control that, because on a song like Give Me the Light, why is she yelling? Like I feel like she like why is she yelling? Like I understand for some songs it makes sense for her to yell, but there's like, you know, think you the shit, right? Where like that's one of those songs where why is she yell? I feel like she doesn't need to yell like she's like Meek Mill, where she can like she's yelling like she's Meek Mill. Where
Yeah.
there's songs like I'm trying to think, Osh, right? It's more. It's not a yell. It's more like an authoritative.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
I think that she works better when it's like that authoritative voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't think she recognizes that she has like a kind of like a sultry voice.
Mm-hmm.
So if she just like rapped normally, there would be like almost like a sex appeal to her music.
Yeah.
Instead of like every time I feel like she's trying to project. But then on Osh, when she's doing the hook, right? When she's like, when she's on this part where she's like, oh shit, she turned up the spot. Oh shit, she toting the knock. Oh shit, she doing her dance. Oh shit, she counting her bands. Like that is delivered like more evenly, but her voice, because she already has kind of like a husky voice. She's from the Bronx. She already has like there's already authority in that voice.
Yes.
You know, you're a woman in the Bronx, kind of have to. That already it sounds really good on its own. It doesn't have to be like this all the time talking to people. You know. So I think that there's a element of like the tones sound good when it's selected in the correct spots, but it's not selected and done properly in every spot. So there's a spottiness to her music.
I think when she has that almost too cool to her delivery, it works better.
Yes, I agree.
Which usually in hip hop it doesn't. I think that some rappers try to do that too cool thing, and it's like that's not gonna work for you. But similar to someone like Fabulous, it just works.
Yeah.
It somehow, I think Fabulous from the Bronx too, so maybe it's a Bronx thing. But I like that too cool nature of her delivery really suits her the best. One thing I want to say before we talk about her career is there's a lot of self-awareness on this project that I think is commendable for someone her age and someone kind of in her life cycle in making music, is that like, this is not serious. She's very aware this is not serious music. Like, you talked about her having some comedic elements to her lyrics, even in her delivery. She never gets in that like delivery of I'm about to rap your face off bag. Like you never get that energy. The yelling is the closest she gets to that, which again doesn't need to be done. But I think that her understanding of like this is just fun. Like this is all fun. My lyrics are fun. My delivery is fun. I think that she does a great job of executing that. Of like, listen, like you're not coming here for anything else other than just some fun lyrics. In terms of how this affects her career, what do you think it does for her? Because I think this is like such an interesting time for her, because I think this album was received and released in a way we didn't see. I think that if we had to guess how this album would be received and released a year ago, we would expect a lot more. And it seems like this album kind of went under the radar.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to Ice Spice, I think that the thing is like the first half leaves me intrigued musically. It does. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, there is a artist in here, like a real one,
An artiste.
Yeah.
too much? Going too far?
I think that there is good music that can be made consistently with Ice Spice.
Okay.
And whether or not that is going to be seized, or that opportunity is going to be seized, or that idea is going to be something that like illuminates in her mind, her crew's mind, whatever, is something that I'm not fully sure of, because like we said, like the first like 5 songs are good. Those are good. But those are not any of the songs that got promoted whatsoever.
Yeah. Only the Travis Scott one.
Right.
Yeah.
And the songs that are not very good are the ones that are getting the push. Right. And I think that Opium is cool. And I think that the people who make Opium music, which is this really like electronic, like enveloping, you know, type of style of music, they're interesting. She doesn't like, if her visage, like how she presents herself, does not fit in with that clique.
No, she need a whole new wardrobe.
Yeah, too much color in her wardrobe.
Yes.
And so I don't know. Like I think I'm looking like I want to hear the next album, because I'm like, is she actually going to find that space where she actually works with like this Opium style of trap production, or is it going to or is she continuously going to be trying to find the next single via drill, right? So when it comes to her career, it's like, I guess I'm looking forward to the next one to see what happens, but I don't know if this is like solidifies like Ice Spice is here. Ice Spice the artiste is here.
I think for her career, this project just doesn't send her back. Because I think that although I like the first 5, it is almost arbitrary because the bar is so low. And that's something I've been thinking about when we're reviewing this project is, yes, I'm intrigued by the first 5, but I think we just had such low expectations that it's like, if we're just comparing this to, what are we really comparing this to?
But here's the thing, like, I did not expect that those 5 songs, 6 songs. This is a 10 song?
Yeah.
This is a 10-song project, okay?
Yeah.
So we're talking about half the album. That half of the album, I didn't even expect that to come out of her, to be honest.
And I think that's a part of it is like, how good is that really? And I've been thinking about that a lot the past few days is, I like this. It sounds good at what she's doing, but, 2 of those songs have big name features on there. That's a part of it. Plenty Sun, Popa, and Fat Butt that she did by herself are valid.
Yeah.
But again, are we just saying this compared to, is this so surprising that it's, and I think that's where it's like, what happens the next time around when people like me and you actually have expectations for her? If she put these out with expectations, do we still feel the same way? And that's the part we can't maybe answer in the moment.
Right.
But I think that's when I think about how this affects her career is maybe for some people it's like, okay, she proved that she's not a one-trick pony in a sense. And then for the rest, it's like, well, we're in the wait and see mode. Like she hasn't like proven she's not that yet.
Yeah.
But it's still like, we'll wait and see what happens next.
Yeah, and here's the thing. She's also crushed by an expectation of like, she's so enormous when it comes to her celebrity right now. She's one of the most recognizable people in North America. That anything that she puts out, like this is her second project. I don't see any other previous ISIS, like her name's ISIS, I remember previous ISIS work, like Ice Spice, did she drop an EP before like? Not that I know of. Yeah, see what I'm saying? Like, so we're judging her in the first 17, 15 songs of her career, but we're looking at her like, okay, like, your celebrity is Taylor Swift, you stand beside Taylor Swift, you stand beside
Nicki Minaj,
she's
Drake.
got Drake, exactly, right? So the eyes of her are just like, everybody's looking at her like, okay, so like, what does she do? Versus when you're most artists and they have their first project, they're living in obscurity. They're just trying shit.
And I think to me, she's kind of running alongside Sexy Red. She's much more popular than Sexy Red in terms of celebrity and fame and like face recognition.
Yeah.
But I think they're running side by side in terms of who's going to prove that they can make better songs first. And I think right now, Sexy Red is probably ahead of her in terms of like people actually liking the quality of Sexy Red's music. But I think that it's not by much. And that's kind of the next, I guess, generation of female MCs is, are you going to be the Cardi B, where your last album was 7 years ago and you've been a single artist ever since? Or the Nicki Minaj, where you have classic albums and you're respected as an MC? Right now, they're both in the Cardi B zone.
Yeah.
And Cardi B is probably the most and only respected MC, other than Lauryn Hill, of course, in that group where you have very few projects and you're mostly a singles artist. So I think going forward, she's still a singles artist to me.
Yeah.
And I think that it's kind of, how does she bridge the gap between then and now? I think because a celebrity is so big, this past 18 months has almost been found money. And, the fact that this project is at least listenable is a win.
Yeah.
And the clock kind of starts now into, again, are you going to be that Cardi B singles artist and we don't care what album you drop or don't drop? Or is she going to be like, okay, where's the next Ice Spice album? Do we want the next Ice Spice album?
Yeah.
Right now, I don't think we're saying that. But I do think the cover is a good kind of thing for that, because this cover is her celebrity all in one place.
Yeah, I want to say one more thing about her career is like, being a singles artist is more work. It's a lot more work, a lot more.
It's more pressure.
More pressure. You got to prostrate yourself. You got to be standing beside the correct people. be on live. You're gonna be doing shit with Kai Cenat. It's like, you think Adele's doing shit with Kai Cenat?
No.
Right? But Cardi B is probably gonna be doing an appearance with Kai Cenat. It's not like there's more work, more pressure when you're a singles artist, so it's actually more important. It's actually important if like just get the music part down. Pat, if you can just give me a solid project. One. And you're good.
She just needs to become seen as a musician. I think for the most part, whenever I see her online, I always go check the comments, see people are saying about her. It's still very much like, why am I seeing her on my timeline? What is this about?
Right.
And so right now, she's way more of a celebrity than a musician, and she's in the start of her career.
Yeah.
It's like that usually happens well down the line. Yeah. Well down. So it's like, for you to come in the game like that, I think she's almost becoming what Yachty was. When Yachty was the spokesperson, the face of what was wrong with hip hop, this new sound we don't like. She's becoming the face of this new hip hop thing where you're more celebrity than musician.
Yeah.
And I don't want that for her. I don't want that for her.
I think her music is too the first 5 songs of this album are too interesting for it to just be a celebrity. Yeah. I think that we were talking about the cover. I do think that the cover is a little bit how do I put this? I don't want to be, I'm trying not to be, but I feel like it's being trashy on purpose, but I'm like, you don't need to do that. Like, putting the album name on a literal trash can is a mistake to me. That's a mistake.
100% mistake. And you know what I think too? I think this cover is a mistake First of all, I think the name of the project is a mistake. Like, she was not around for that. Like, that's not even her era to call it Y2K. Like, she's 10 years behind to be calling an album Y2K. Then on top of that, her actual visage and how she looks and her name are the most popular things. So for her name on the project to not be really legible on the album cover, big miss. And then the cover should be mostly her. I agree. I think this cover to me is a big misstep, because if you look at this cover in passing, you don't not know right away that's Ice Spice on the cover. If you look closely and you see, oh, that's Ice Spice, but again, she's turned away from the camera. Of course, you see the ass cheeks, which has been her signature. Everyone's calling it the Ice Spice now when someone goes on stage and they just start twerking out of nowhere. It's like they're calling it the Ice Spice. It's like, okay, you ran out of lyrics, start shaking your ass.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like you did not use her face, her celebrity properly
orange hair
with this cover. Like, it's like, make the cover way more minimal and make her stand out.
I agree. There's this one photo that I was thinking of when you were talking. It was like, that white dress that she wore, the Met Gala?
Yes.
I think if they just made the photo or the album cover mostly white, highlight the orange hair in her face, that would have been killer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think that she has a distinct look, the curly orange hair. I don't know why they're doing this straight Nicki Minaj, but I don't know why they're going for this Nicki Minaj redux when her curly ginger hair.
Yeah, the curly fro is a vibe.
Nobody who else has something like that as a celebrity. Nobody, right? So I feel like they should have accentuated that more. And I think that, like, I get you wanted to appear like more. She's like within like New York. She's like within the streets and stuff like that. It's not really mistakable. You hear her voice, this is a New York cat. like it's hard to hear somebody other than New York when she opens her mouth. So I think that they're doubling down on something that didn't need to.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of the juxtaposition of her fame is past hip hop.
Yeah.
But she's one of those people where outside of hip hop knows you, but they're not listening to you. And so it's like, okay, hip hop is where she's gonna like get her bones musically. This cover is giving hip hop almost too much.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah, like it's giving 50th anniversary of hip hop. Like,
yeah, it's giving like 1995.
I was gonna say 89. Like, like this is giving like she's about to start freestyling to someone beatboxing, and that's not the kind of music she makes.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you think about this cover and what this cover looks like, and then what her music sounds like, it's like Y2K isn't what her music sounds like in the first place. It's not that era of music. What the cover looks like is giving like late 80s, early 90s hip hop. Not her kind of music.
Yeah.
Her fans, I don't think, want to see this kind of thing. So the cover is a big miss for me.
Why did she just make the cover? You know that that like that chain that she has with like
Yeah.
the face where she's like almost like looking off like a whatever.
Yeah.
Why isn't that the cover? You know, there's so many other things that she could have done to make it more like iconically her. Like she's in it, but I don't feel like this is like Ice Spice, like iconic.
Even the cover for Like, I think, is more her than this is.
Me too.
And before we get to the vinyl, this is why I brought the Jack Harlow vinyl, because Jack Harlow, also a pop rapper, he's doing what she's aiming to do and be seen as credible musically while still being seen as a huge pop star and known for your music. And I think what her next step could and should be is something musically that is just to show what she can do musically. I think the hits, the singles, I think that ship has sailed. So much of her hits sound the same, sound very similar, and I don't think that the casual listener wants to hear another Munch, Think You the Shit. I think that's been exhausted. And what Jack Harlow did with his last project, Jackman, of making it basically just a straight real hip hop project, it didn't get the critical acclaim that it should have. It didn't nominate for a Grammy.
Yeah.
It didn't chart as well as the last project. But for
made our top 10.
And that's kind of what matters. So it's like, you want the music fans to say, okay, you know what? I see what you do, even if the casuals don't see it.
Yeah.
So I think that's her next step. For me, definitely not a vinyl cop. I don't like the cover. The album to me is not good enough to be a vinyl cop. It's very short, which is not bad, but to me, not a vinyl cop. Is it a vinyl cop for you?
No, it isn't. I don't like the cover. The music again is not good enough. So I would say it's no for the vinyl cop. I guess it being short would only be the only plus.
Yeah, and it's not a no skips.
Yeah, it's definitely not a no skips.
Definitely not a no skips.
Okay.
Where you at with your score? I want to hear from you first, because you are the one who was standing on that Ice Spice soapbox for many, many months, and your time is here. So let's hear it.
I was on the soapbox because I'm like, she is an artist. Okay, she makes music, and people were saying that she doesn't. I've been thinking about this for a long time, right? I think that Y2K exclamation point is a 5.5 out of 10. But it's a weird 5.5 out of 10 because I'm like, you said earlier, like highs are really good. Like the highs are high, the lows are borderline catastrophic.
Yes.
Okay, like really just genuinely, what are we doing here? I think that the songs at the top, Fat Butt, Popa, Bitch I'm Packin', could use a little work when it comes to her voice. Plenty Sun, Did It First. Like these are good tracks, like genuinely good. Any artist would be proud to have these tracks, right? But then you're getting to the start with like, Think You the Shit, Give Me the Light, and BB Belt. These are genuinely really fucking bad.
Yep.
BB Belt specifically,
horrible.
That song sucks.
Yep.
Okay. So it's weird where it's like, okay, there's some good stuff. I can even say this out loud. I see potential.
Okay.
Right? I see potential. But then there's songs where I'm like, this is why this is your first major like album. You know what I mean? And it's kind of hard to deal with that balance because like I said before, I'm like, there's songs, why are you yelling at me?
Yep.
But then there's songs where I'm like, tone excellent, you know? I think that Fat Butt, she's basically, Fat Butt is like, let me try the Nicki Minaj, like, you know, type anything right here. And that worked for her. So I think that it's these two things, like the low lows and the high highs coming together and they clash into each other. And I think I'm giving it a 5.5 because I'm like, it could get better, right? Like I want to at least leave the toggle where I'm like, I'm seeing the potential. I'm seeing the artistic potential. I'm seeing like there's these elements that, you know, when we talk about opium, there's no women in opium. Bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And if there is, they're not at her level.
Yes. Not at all. No.
Right? So for her to be able to exist and do stuff like that multiple times, it wasn't like a one-off song.
Yeah.
Multiple times. I'm like, okay, there's something here. There's something here because she popped with drill.
Yes.
And is moving to a different sound. And that sound is starting to sound good.
I think you're being generous with a 5.5.
Yeah?
For me, Y2K by Ice Spice is a 4.5.
Okay.
I was originally at a 5. And I think why I'm down to a 4.5 is thinking about the songs that I do like that we think there's potential there. I think we are just caught up in the moment of not having any expectations for her. And it's like, we didn't even think she could even do this. And I think if we're being realistic, if we played some of these songs with the Opium songs we already like, they wouldn't be able to hang.
I do think they would.
I don't think they would. I think it's almost like a watered down version of them and a lighter version of them, where it's like, it's not Kids Bop level. I'm not gonna go that far.
That's it.
But it is almost like the rapper that doesn't swear. And it's like, how gangster can you sound not swearing? And that's kind of where I see Ice Spice is like, the lyrical content doesn't fit that sound. Her voice does, and I think her flows do.
Yeah.
But I do think this is a matter of, we just didn't think she was capable of much past the drill. And her even doing this is like a plus in itself. But I think again, now that we know she can do this, if she does this same level of music the next time around, we're not going to be impressed. And so I think the impressed part, at least for me, I'm realizing is like, I just didn't know what she could do.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't know that was in her bag.
Yeah, it's like I'm happy she's rhyming words.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's going over the top.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's a 4.5. I think the bad songs on here are just so bad. And I think my problem is that even though she's not lyrical at all, I'm not seeing that as a reason why her music can't be good. There are some artists where it's like, you're just so bad lyrically, it's like you got to do the most to get a decent song. She's not that.
Yeah.
She has had playing decent songs.
She's funny.
With her lyrical ability. So for me, this is a 4.5. I think this is somehow better than I expected at a 4.5. But I think I'm with you on there being potential. I think there's potential for her to do something more. I don't think I feel confident in her actually doing it. But at least I know
that's where I'm at. Yeah.
At least I know that she's capable.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, it's doable. But is there enough people in the room? And is there enough? Honestly, is there enough like want to from her?
Yes.
To it to be good, because I do think you just put that 6 in a room with any of those guys that I mentioned, Ken Carson, even I said young Nudie, Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, Playboy Cardi. You just put it in a room and play them for them to be like, yeah, they could see it, right? And it's very visible.
No, and they could see it. And why I said I feel like hers wouldn't hang is like, they would turn it up a notch. They're like, you're getting started. Let's take it to where it's really supposed to go.
Right.
And I think her even just getting in the arena, it was like, we were like, whoa.
It's like,
you know what I mean? When it's like,
Ice Spice wears black?
Yeah. And it's like, Destroy Lonely, Ken Carson, those guys have it turned all the way up, where it's like, if they did this, we're like, oh, you're calm today. You're off the drugs today. And I think that's the difference is, we're giving her more credit for less because expectations were so low. I want to know everyone thinks in the comments.
Me too.
Like, please let us know, all the Ice Spice fans, or they call them the munches, all the munches. Let us know in the comments.
Opium munches. Are the munches now on opium? Let's see.
Yeah. I want to know what you guys think. Please let us know. Did we give it too low of a score or even too high of a score? That is absolutely possible. Make sure you find us on the interwebs at Album Mode Pod on Twitter, at Album Mode Pod on Instagram, at Album Mode Pod on TikTok, and of course, Album Mode on YouTube. Like this video, share it with your people, and of course, make sure you're subscribed. And until next time, know yourself, know your worth.
Later days.